What's up, everybody? This your girl T Green coming back at you with another video. And I had a couple things on my mind that I wanted to talk about. And what I want to talk about right now is something that can actually be detrimental to your weight loss journey, as well as your health, but something that can also be very beneficial to your weight loss journey and your health, and that is expelling waste. So this is not a very comfortable topic. It's not something that people like to talk about. Unfortunately, it's one of those topics that needs to be had. I know that there are quite a few people talking about it here and there on the internet, mostly on YouTube. And one of the first real conversations that I remember involving expelling waste that I was able to listen to, I wasn't a participant, but one that I was able to listen to was watching Dr. Oz. And he talked about your intestinal health and things like that. And, when you have a bowel movement, what it's supposed to look like and things like that. And once again, if you have a queasy stomach and all that, I don't do getting graphic, but I definitely want to cut to the chase. I don't want to beat around the bush and things like that. I just want to, just have a conversation with you about this, because personally, I never had a problem in this area until I had my bariatric surgery. So this, even though I watched the interview and everything with Dr. Oz about intestinal health, and he talked about having a bowel movement and being able to expel and things like that. At the time I wasn't having a problem, but I found it to be very, very interesting. I just think biology within itself is very interesting, because I'm always curious about, why our bodies do some of the things that it does. And so anyway, I was thinking about that today, not trying to come up with a topic or anything, but it was just, some things was going through my mind. And like I said before, since I've had my bariatric surgery, the thing of it is, this was not a conversation that anyone had with me. So when I started having trouble, it wasn't something that I was prepared for, because nobody ever mentioned it to me. Now, I did watch a lot of videos prior to me having my surgery, and I've watched a lot of videos since then. And one common denominator between the individuals that I was watching that talked about having issues with your intestinal health was definitely bariatric patients. Now, it's not to say that those are the only people who have problems having with their with intestinal health, being able to go to the restroom, but that is what was of interest to me. And so I just wanted to kind of share some tips with you that I've learned. And granted, this is still a struggle for me, because I don't have all the answers. I'm not a doctor, I'm not a nutritionist or any medical professional by any means. And I'm only familiar with my body and what my body does and how my body responds to certain things. So I just wanted to share with you all some of the, not just the issues that I have, but some of the things that I've been able to do to resolve those issues. And so the first thing is, I never really did like water. So before I had my surgery, I wasn't like a huge water drinker. And I'm still not a huge water drinker, because the struggle that I find myself dealing with as far as, getting all my water in, is that I have to quite often make a choice, because not only am I supposed to drink, plenty of water, and I think I mentioned this in another video, I need to take in at a bare minimum 64 grams of protein a day. And so a lot of the protein rich foods are a little bulky, and sometimes some of them are fibrous. They're a good source of fiber, which means that you get fuller faster and you stay fuller longer, which is a problem, because if you're full, you don't want to keep putting nothing in your body. A lot of times we'll be full, but we'll be thirsty, and that will be the reason that we actually consume liquids and things like that. But for someone who has had, and I can't speak to the lap band, nor can I speak to the sleeve. I can only speak to a gastric bypass. Since I've had my gastric bypass, trying to consume the proper amount of water in a day, on top of trying to consume the correct amount of, or the minimum amount of protein, is a very, very difficult thing for me to do, because I don't have the capacity in my stomach that I had before. I can only consume about 1.5 to 2 cups of food, and then you're supposed to wait. A bariatric patient, one of the things that they tell you is that you're not supposed to drink anything up to 30 minutes before you eat, and you have to wait at least 30 minutes after you eat. And one of the reasons is that it actually creates a problem for your body being able to get the proper amount of nutrients from the food that you've eaten. And also, you don't want to, it's painful. I've always been a type of person that I have to drink when I eat. So I'm, even 3 years out, I'm still struggling with remembering that I cannot eat and drink at the same time. This is something that I'm still trying to mentally come to terms with, because when I eat, naturally it helps me swallow my food. If I drink something, like every few bites. So I don't have a problem swallowing and things like that. I don't have any, issues with my throat. It's just that that's the way I've been all my life. So my brain is programmed to naturally want to consume a beverage of some sort as I'm eating every few bites, because it helps to push the food, through my system, and it helps to properly moisturize and lubricate my throat, so it makes the food go down better. And so anyway, that's one of the things that I'm struggling with. So as far as a person who might be having challenges expelling waste, one of the things that I have tried to do is make sure I get, like, at least at the beginning of the day, as many liquids, water and stuff like that I can. And nutritionists will tell you that consuming, an increased amount of water will definitely help your body to hydrate itself, and it'll help you be able to go to the restroom a lot better. Another thing that we really don't pay attention to is stress. Your body naturally, when you are under any amount of stress, tenses up. Your muscles get tight, your body is tired and fatigued because you're on 10, for long periods of time. And if that's what's happening to the outside, or, something that's like visibly happening with you, then imagine what your organs are going through while you're experiencing this stress. And I remember telling somebody once before that, it was weird, because I seem, to me and to other people, like I was not really relaxed, but I was, I was good. I wasn't, stressed out or anything like that. But for some reason, every single Sunday evening, as it becomes aware to me that I need to start getting my things together for me to be able to go to work on the next day, all of a sudden I would start getting this really bad headache in the back of my head. I would start, feeling like these knots and stuff in my shoulder. It was just a very, very frustrating feeling, because I couldn't figure out what the heck was going on. I just noticed that, come Friday, I was relaxed. I was like a little, loosey goosey, so to speak, and I was good to go. But come Sunday evening, when it came time for me, I realized what time it was, and I had to get up, and I had to make sure that my lunch was packed, and I had to make sure my clothes was taken care of, and I knew where my things were, and everything that I needed to remember to put in my bag was, all of that. As I went through the steps to try to prepare for the next day, I became more and more tense. Well, somebody made a comment to me about on Fridays, they are so excited and full of energy, even if they are dog tired all that day. Come Friday after lunch, they noticed that they started becoming very relaxed, and they would, and then they said, but for some reason, my head be hurting, and this is happening, and I don't have an appetite, and all this stuff is going on, Sunday night, and I can't sleep, and I'm tossing and turning and things like that. And I said to them, well, I said, Friday you leaving work, and Sunday you getting ready to come back, so that might have a lot to do with it. And then it was like this light went off, because I'm sitting there thinking to myself, they're telling me the same identical situation that I'm going through, and it didn't even register that what I said to them was applicable to me too. So I started thinking, I'm like, well, you know what, this is a trip. So I just kind of thought about it when Sunday rolled around, and I started getting my stuff together, and I noticed that I started feeling tired. I started feeling fatigued and stressed out, and the knot was coming, and the headache was coming, and I feel like I had so many things to think about, I need to do this, I need to do that, and I was like, you know what, the same thing I told my coworker is more relevant to me probably than it is to her. And so anyway, I said all that to say that, stress will cause your body to do all sorts of things. It's kind of similar to a person who really wants to have a baby, and they're having a difficult time having a baby. Well, one of the things that the fertility specialist will tell them is that you need to relax. You need to not focus so hard on having the baby. And maybe if you do things that's, fun and entertaining, and, will allow you to just kind of relax in the moment when you, have relations or whatever, you won't be so tense because you're so worried about making the baby. So, and they will tell you that it has everything to do with your body being productive in a lot of different ways. And that includes being able to go to the restroom. So those are two things. And then the other, thing that I was thinking about is the fact that not just being a bariatric patient, but before I had my surgery, they make you go through all these different tests and things like that. And one of the things that I found out, not having any knowledge or anything about this happening to my body, is that I was vitamin deficient in like 6 different areas. And I mean, in some of the areas, the deficiency was it was bad. It was, there's a wonder that my body wasn't reacting to the fact that I was basically starving it of the nutrients. And so these are just some things that will help you to be successful in eliminating waste. Another thing that I noticed is that when I changed my diet, not just from being a meat eater, specifically, taking in pork and beef on top of the other sources of animal protein that I was ingesting, my body was reacting differently when I was eating those things. And then when I stopped eating those things and I became a flexitarian, which basically meant that I was only consuming poultry and seafood, I noticed that my body was responding a little bit more positively. I had more energy. I felt that I was able to rest better. I just, my body was responding in a very positive way versus weighing myself down with all the heavy beef and pork and things like that. And so now that I'm a lacto vegetarian, which basically means that I don't eat any animal protein whatsoever. The only animal products that I consume, I'm allergic to eggs, so I don't eat eggs anyway. I'm lactose intolerant, so I don't drink or use cow's milk. I consume, if I do cereal or protein shakes or anything like that, I do nut milks or hemp milk or coconut milk. But I do eat cheese, and I do enjoy yogurt and like cottage cheese, sour cream, that sort of thing. So that's what makes me a lacto vegetarian. But I noticed that's another thing, is if you find yourself, and if y'all hear the banging, they're outside. I don't know what they're doing, but messing around on my roof, and I do apologize, but I'm going to get this video finished because I have something I have to do this evening. But anyway, I lost my train of thought. That's what happens when you're filming a video and things are happening to distract you. But if you find that your body, it feels like it's being weighed down, and you're a person that consumes animal protein, you might want to consider either doing like a plant-based diet for a little while, or maybe scaling back on the volume of animal protein that you're consuming, or maybe change up the type of animal protein that you're consuming. My husband is still a meat eater. He doesn't really eat beef or pork because the pork gives him a headache. He has high blood pressure, and the beef is just too heavy on his body. He doesn't like how it makes him feel now, because he hasn't had it for such a really long time. He doesn't like how it smells. But he does do poultry periodically. He primarily eats whatever I eat, but every now and then I will purchase, whatever it is that he wants to eat. He would have to cook it. I started out cooking it for him, but I do apologize. This is crazy. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this video up. So you want to increase your water, increase your fiber, decrease your caffeine, which is something I really didn't have a chance to get into. I'll come back and talk a little bit more about, because I am a coffee drinker. The teas that I consume are herbal. They really don't have caffeine in them. But I do enjoy teas, but it's the coffee. I don't drink sodas and stuff, so I'm not consuming anything like that has caffeine in it. But I do understand that caffeine can impact how your body uses the food that you ingest. The other thing, and I'm looking at the paper because I don't want to forget anything, you also want to increase your activity. Going to the gym, things like that will help you be able to expel waste, because of the fact that you are moving and getting exercise. Your metabolism, it helps your body to burn excess fat, which in turn impacts how you're able to actually go to the restroom. We talked about relaxation. You want to, and I'm actually working on that myself, because I want to learn a little bit more about meditation and things like that. And so I'm trying to find opportunities, or trying to better utilize opportunities for me to be able to relax, and not just be in a moment where I'm not working or not thinking about work or anything like that, but truly being able to meditate and relax and allow my body to just come to a very calm place. We talked about medication and supplements, and then the last thing is reducing or eliminating stress. So anyway, that's going to do it for me. Like I said before, I just had a few things on my mind, and I just wanted to kind of talk to you about them, because this is something I'm currently struggling with, and I basically learn new information probably like maybe every week or every other week. And these are just things, I apologize, these are just things that I am trying to do to help myself be in a better place with the things that my body is taking in, being able to use that energy to the best of my body's ability, and also for me not to be so compacted when it comes to being able to expel waste. I thank you for bearing with me if you stayed through this video, bearing with me on this not so nice topic to talk about. Unfortunately, this is something that's natural for us. We have to expel waste in order to survive. If we don't, our body can be basically poisoned from the inside out, because waste is definitely not something that you want to hold on to. Anyway, if you are not a member of the family, we ask you to go ahead and click that subscribe button, leave us a comment below, like and share this video. All of my social media will be linked below, and if you have any comments, questions, or concerns, please let us know. If you have a topic or anything that you would be interested in us covering, please let us know that as well. In the meantime, you enjoy your fabulous life and take care. Bye.